Hello friends, and welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to have another cozy journal session. It is raining outside for me today. It is very gloomy and overcast, but we are going to embrace it and have a nice cozy journaling session. I asked on my Instagram broadcast channel called Probably Caffeinated what you guys would like to see. If you'd like to have a little say in what comes up in my YouTube videos, do join that channel. But the highest voted category was more journal with me videos. Another specific request was more my thought process and how I go about choosing my deco and placement. So I am going to first dissect a few of my favorite spreads and how I got to laying down each piece. And then we will do a little journal with me and set up the current week. This is my TN. I got this customized embossed at BK. Here is my weekly vertical. And we are on the week 6th through the 12th. Today is the 7th. So I usually decorate somewhere in the middle of the week and then fill out the whole page with deco beforehand. And I actually choose my ink color depending on the deco as well. So let me go ahead and have a seat and let's dissect some pages. I do want to share this little coffee mug. Let's get the goods out of the way. This was a Christmas market mug for 𝘕𝘂 in Germany, 𝘕𝘮𝘢, that I got last year, and it was the perfect amount to make a little latte. So nice and warm. It is getting cold enough to be turning on the heater. Okay, so let's go through some of my favorites here. A little flip through. I change how I do my journal very frequently. Here it's just like full every corner of the page I could get. Then I did watercolor one week, and then since this week of July, it's kind of been the same with some pet tape. One of my favorite layouts are these 2 weeks here, and I usually get something that inspires me and excites me to create a spread. And in this case, it were actually these film pet tapes that I used both weeks, and it can kind of show you the difference you could make, although these two spreads do follow a very similar aesthetic. So I will usually pick a pet tape that really excites me and motivates me to create, and then looking at those pages, decide on the mood that I want to go. So the colors in these, there is a dark, moody aspect with the eucalyptus leaves. There's the light area of beige, and so I wanted to find something that also translated that emotion and feeling in me, and so I found some pet tape that was also beige, neutral, with darker accents. Another with washi. This is a white yohaku washi with black bold text. Then going through my pieces, focusing on, do I want to keep going the beige neutral route or go more moody and dark? So I did find some more pieces of PET tape that looks like washi strips here, then another black washi tape, and then putting that all down, I knew I actually wanted to do a quote of some sort with the new alphabet stamps I had gotten that week, and that also added to the boldness of the page. Then to soften it up, I knew I wanted to add a character. So in this case, it was a Pion girl, and it was almost very fitting when I came across this one specifically, and her shirt actually says soft and strong. I personally love when I can make a girl kind of pop out of another shape. My favorite is actually to do a square and actually cut the girl to be behind it and coming out of the figure. So I'm specifically talking about one that I did. So here is the cover of my previous vertical, and this was the first time I did it, and it's kind of been a recipe or a formula, if you will, for when I want to use a girl. I don't exactly have anywhere specific I want to use her, but I will fall back on this formula to add a lot of dimension very easily. So I will put her in a frame, or I will actually cut her and make it where she's inside the frame on this one, inside, but then stepping out of it. So that is one thing I like to do in taking advantage of frames. I did the same thing here, where her body is actually inside of the frame, but then it's almost like she's poking her head out of the window and coming through. So I will layer part of it underneath and the other parts of it coming out. And I think that's just a great way to add dimension and kind of draw your eye to that corner as you move through the page. Another thing that I like to do is choose a direction of flow. So for me, for most of us reading, it's left to right. And then for me, starting on the left page, she is facing inwards, and her elbow pointing upwards is directing the flow to where she's looking and where this angle is. And it's kind of that angle here of where the deco is. This gives a really nice flow to the eye when you're looking at the page blank, as well as after you fill it in with text, there's still somewhere for the eye to follow. Going to the next page here, it's a little different. I started this page with the same film strip as before, and I angled it this way. And so with this, this is my first angle. Whenever I lay the other subsequent pieces, I usually go the opposite way. So here it's pointing this way, and then I probably laid this piece next and had it going a different way. But I will always follow the angle in other PET tapes. So here, this angle is going this way, and then the broomstick are complementary that way. For this one, it is kind of the window, the edges of the window going along there. And so these elements will balance each other even though they're going different directions. And it's not to say that this happened pre-planned. It's more so I'll put a piece down, I'll put another piece down, and then I have another design, illustration, or washi tape that interests me. And you'll see later the way that I put a piece down, like I've committed that I'm going to use the piece. I just don't know how it fits in with it yet. And you always reference your either first subject or the piece that got you really excited, kind of the focal point. So for me, this was the focal point. So as I was adding each layer, I would twist and kind of turn and look, how does it complement or enhance my main piece here? So there isn't necessarily a main piece in this section. It's more so I kept the angle on this first strip with this, and then this frame is the same angle as this thicker washi there. Another one I like to do, I personally pay attention to where the girl is looking, and so I will a lot of the times have them look towards the open page. Okay, I think let's go ahead and get to decorating. Oh, here's one where they're not looking towards the open page, but I have two girls to balance and they're both looking away. Okay, so let's go ahead and decorate this one together, and I will walk you through what's in my head, what's going on. The longest part of it is going to be me flipping through my items. So I will be cutting and jumping around. But when I get to a part where I come across something that evokes a feeling in me or excitement, something that I want to use, then I will go ahead and narrate through that. This is my little catch-all of all the pieces that kind of get cut up. You know where you have a loop and you're like, oh, I want just that one piece right in the middle, and you have to cut the whole loop. Well, this is the collection of all the little pieces that get left behind. So I am making it my personal goal to use this first, and then if I feel like I can't find what I'm looking for to complete a spread, then I will go ahead and move on to the rest of my collection. But I really do want to wind this down. I don't really have a direction of where I'm going today with my spread. There isn't a particular feeling I have towards maybe florals or nature or a certain color. We'll just see where it goes. Yesterday I made a coffee spread in my Midori one day one page, so I'm kind of coffeeed out. So I am not very excited to continue something that I've done in the past few days. So I usually like to go in a different direction. Since I did something coffee themed, let me show you just for reference. Since I did something coffee themed yesterday, I'm a little in the mood to go more whimsical or kawaii or cutesy, because yesterday I was able to play with neutrals, a little bit more modern. This is giving a lot of like French vibes. So I am wanting to go the complete opposite with that. And I feel like that a lot of the time in your creativity depends on what you've been working on, what you've seen, what you've exposed yourself. And sometimes you need to freshen up and go a different route the next time you're able to sit down. I'm also a little falled out today because my previous spreads in my A6 daily journal have been fall colors with leaves, girls in sweaters, pumpkins. So that's also something I'm not looking to decorate with today. So that's why I feel like I'll probably go towards something more cutesy. Here's something that's neutral, that's a little more whimsical, organic shaped, not so straight lined. So this is something potential that I'd want to go off of. It's not exactly exciting me to the point of making it the main subject, but it could be a potential good complement. I also start to think if the week has already started, like it has for me, today's Tuesday, I will think about what's already happened today and yesterday. If there's anything that I could use to give a visual to the days that have passed. And that also might lead me in a certain direction for what I might use. I don't know that I'm really feeling anything in here. I am going to go ahead now and look into my PET tape book and then see if after I find maybe a focal subject in there, I'll come back to this. You know, now that I see this piece, this is an F.Studio piece, and it is from a design focused on like home items. I might center my deco this week being on the home, maybe like homebody, cozy vibes, because it's raining this week. So that's kind of something that triggers a design element, if you will. I can't figure out the words that I'm trying to say, but what I'm trying to say is now I've kind of got a general direction of where I might want to go with this. And then that now is reminding me of some of the more whimsical illustrations like Miss Shoegg. So let's go ahead, put this to the side. I'm now grabbing my PET tape book, and here I have some girls in the front. There is a journal theme here. So here's one that says journal, and she's at home with cake and coffee. That might be a good contender. Oh, I just noticed that she has a Christmas tree on her dress. Okay. Enjoy every moment of life inspired. You are... Wait, what? Enjoy every moment of life inspired. You for a better tomorrow. I can't read. I can't decide how I'm supposed to read this. Enjoy every moment of life inspired you for a better tomorrow. I'm just gonna move on. Okay. I like the individual words. I just can't figure out how I'm supposed to read this, or if maybe the translation did not come out the way they intended. Here are some of my favorites. These are the Pion Twilight tapes, and I have a lot of scraps here. Maybe that coffee cup that's giving fall colors. I haven't settled on a fountain pen ink color yet either. Usually if there's a pen I am really in love with using, I will decorate around that ink color. This is going to be a very long video, guys. So this is just part of the process. So the pet tape I was actually looking for is in this storage container, the F.Studio, here in this clip. And then I have sample rolls here too, and that is a washi tape. So here's what I'm working with from the pet tape. If I did do this journal one, everything else is kind of neutral that it would just follow. It would also be fun to use the bowl of produce because it can translate some of that color there from this girl. The only thing I dislike is the proportion. This is just so large that it's practically the same size as her, and so that would bother me a little bit on the spread, just because she's so small and this thing is so large. Unless you kind of like space them far apart. I don't know. It's not really giving for me. Scratch that, get rid of that, and I do enjoy the home vibes of this. I wonder if I like this because the spread that I was dissecting with you all is also from F.Studio. This one. This pet tape is from these loops. So I don't know. See, what you expose yourself ties into what you're thinking. I'm still not totally convinced, guys. So I'm going to go ahead and look through my sticker release insert now if there is anything that catches my eye on what I want to work with. I think I will go like a foodie route, something with food illustrations, this homebody idea. Maybe do this cat who's eating. I kind of want to get the produce bowl because I do like the color. It's a nice change from all the fall things I've been using. And this might encourage me to use a green ink or something bright like the orange. So let's see if there's anything else I could use to go with it. This has like a home on it. Maybe. These would be great if I decide to do a green ink. However, it's surrounded by pink cherry blossoms. I don't know. I could use this one because it's more green to go with the home vibes. I'm so sorry about the lighting and how it's going away. Okay, so for me, with things that are small like this in proportion to the other things, it's like this is off in the distance. So I will put that towards the back there. So it's like you're looking at the spread from your perspective, and like this being so large, I want to put it towards the bottom, like it's what's closest to me, so that's why it looks bigger. That's just how my brain's going right now. Live simply, I like that. This is getting into the exact same illustration now as what I had on the PET tape. I love this. I love this toast that says, I know what I need and what's best for me. See, and this is what I mean by like the problem of you need something in the middle of the loop. Luckily, I don't have to cut through the entire loop. If I wanted like both of these pieces, then I would. I'm gonna cut it. I'm gonna cut it because I want this cutting board with steak because my husband is cooking steak tonight. And that's honestly just what drives my decor style, is like what's going on in my life. And I cooked soup yesterday. I made a potato leek soup, and this is reminding me of the sourdough that I toasted up to go with my soup and my husband cooking steak tonight. Like, it is literally just those little things. And so now my spread has turned into a foodie, comfort, food, home vibes. Sorry, my phone died. I record on my phone, and I actually had to take an hour break. And so I'm coming back now. I actually left my desk so that I wouldn't get any further in the creative process without narrating about it. But that's kind of another tip, is kind of like step away for a little bit. I went and had lunch, and now I'm back, and I saw my show Little Happiness Girls, and these are probably, to me, the best girls I could use if I wanted to. Everything else that I have just doesn't go along with the vibe of what I am looking for in this week's spread. And I actually have the perfect set of tapes that could work. These are, I think, the spring and summer girls, and it goes with the yellow in this washi house, the yellow of the tulip, the green obviously, even the yellow hue of the potatoes in this pot, the green there, green. It really works together. But because it's from a spring one, I'm going to avoid the ones with flowers. I could use them, but I just don't want to add any more confusion to my spread, because I'm going to use more fall colored inks in the pens when I fill it in. So avoiding the ones with some flowers. And then I'm going to avoid the ones that, well, this one with the cat doesn't even have pink or green. I want to avoid the ones with a huge green part to it, because I'm going to do some header writing with green, and I don't want it to get too green. So that's something to take into account as well. If you're going to be writing in color, that color adds to the end result of the page once you've filled it in. If you're just going to write in black, then totally just pay attention to only the deco portion. But for myself, I will be writing in green and a brown ink. So I'm keeping that in mind in terms of how the finished overall spread will look like once it's filled in. So I'm going to avoid this girl, and that only leaves me these two. This is giving very summer vibes, so that's kind of automatically out. And I've come to this last girl, and I actually love it because it can kind of tie in to the whole farmer's market vibe. It is raining this week. I'm just going to pretend that that is a rain hat, even though she's not wearing a raincoat. And it honestly just reminds me of my daughter. So I'm going to use this girl in the spread. And we've got all the main elements here now. And let's see how we can form this together. I do know I want this here in the front somewhere. The house, just the way the orientation is, it makes me want to put it in the upper right corner, where this back house is kind of where like nothing else is really going to be behind it. So it's going to be right here. I could put it like elsewhere, but I don't know if you'll be able to capture what I'm trying to say. This feels closed off on the corner here. That might be good in terms of allowing writing space here and not having any more deco, or having this be the edge, and I don't intend on, writing here on this corner. I don't usually write in the top, but this is kind of a nice corner to have. Here, that elastic is perfect. That corner is nice to have to kind of close off, and because of the field, it's almost like opening into the page. So I'm just going to be narrating what's going on in my head in terms of placement. I don't study art and angles and lines, and I have no idea about that at all. This is just where my brain is telling me to put it. So even though I'm kind of set on putting it there, I will play around with it and see what that does to the rest of the page. I think I'm set on that because it just opens and flows this way. Whereas if I put it here, I'm kind of going to start creating little sections. And I've done that in the past where I've created a little mini moment here, a mini moment there. But in doing this, I would be creating kind of the opening to this section here, and it would close off this column. And I could put writing there and have another moment, but that's kind of a different strategy. For today, I'm going to go ahead and put it there. So with that, and this field of grass and bushes opening up into this area, I want to follow that line. So I know I want to use this in the front here. I can kind of continue that line and place this down here. I also strategically will cover the notes word down there because I don't use it, just to play around with it. If I put it anywhere here, because these are the only two pieces, it's really hard to envision how the rest of the page is going to go if I put this here. Because looking at my other elements, everything is pretty small. Other than the girl, these three are the biggest elements. And this is something to note also, because these are the three biggest, I want to balance the page out. If I put this down here, it automatically makes my eye to put this girl on the left in the middle and create a kind of triangle effect there. If I place this here, like my original thought, this allows me to have a lot of free range and movement for where the girl is going to go. I could put it somewhere in the middle, create that diagonal line with the three biggest objects. I could continue like a right angled triangle down here as well. The farmer's market is on Thursday, and if this is, giving me that vibe of us going and kind of the little small market vendors you could find at a farmer's market. I'm making an entire story now with my deco, and sometimes that's the fun in it. So I could put it here. It's going to go diagonal with the line, but it's a little above. If I were to create a straight line through this corner, she is a little above there, and that allows me to then put something in this corner to balance it. So we'll play around with that idea. I know that I was really fond of the bread one because I made soup yesterday, so let's just see how this is going to go. And this could take a completely different turn by the time I start laying things down. So yesterday I made soup, and I had some sourdough bread as like little croutons to soak up my soup. And so I really love this as kind of part of having a story already. So I could, layer the bread like so. I'm already imagining that I would write down here, soup season, something like that. More pieces of bread. I could either keep those all together or add this somewhere else to further balance the spread like it was one intentional design. I'm so sorry for my creaky chair. I mentioned how my husband is going to make steak tonight. This is a chopping board. It's Tuesday, but it's already getting crowded. I could off balance this so that it's more towards like the Wednesday, Thursday area, but then when I write, it'll be here like my husband made steak or steak for dinner, something like that. Everything else is kind of free game, and that will help to further balance. So we can already see the diagonal line here. This, I could line it up straight with the girl. That leaves very little writing space here, and usually when I have two elements close like this, I will intentionally leave that space blank. So I could angle it a little bit up, go in between the column so it's not directly in line with this vegetable thing, and that way I can still write on either side. I have writing space here, all this writing space as well. So let's go ahead and continue with the diagonal line. I mentioned that she would be right above if I were to actually draw a line. So let's pretend this is our line from corner to corner, just to give you a visual. So we've got elements right along the diagonal line, which is where the flow is going. So we could add something smaller down here to help balance, because we've got like equal portion of this pet tape on either side of the line, this as well. She is completely above this line. The house is also in the middle. So looking at what we have, and I wanted to use the cat. I could put the cat like it's her buddy, her best friend, like right there. I don't know. Does that work? It kind of works. So yeah, the cat is a little smaller than her, not too small. Could add some balance. That's the thing about like sticker release stuff, is you don't really get to like play around with where it goes. I like that the brown in the cat is similar to the brown in the girl's hair. So I think I'll use that. I'm going to stick it right there for now. So the cat will be right there. Then it's time to fill in some other things. Because the cat has a spoon, a fork and a knife, I might not use this unless I like, yeah, I don't know if it's really going to work anywhere. I could layer it with the bread, but I don't think that works. So what's left now is I don't necessarily want to create an X. I could put this somewhere down here, and then now it kind of sort of created a diagonal line between the bread, the girl, this piece of bread, and then going down here. And that would create another angle of flow this way. But the problem with creating an X, to me, I don't even know if this is visually correct in any design element, you lose the ability to control the flow to another person's eye with the X, because they might not see the diagonal flow here. They'll just see like the top row, the bottom row. I'm completely just making that up, but that is what my brain says to like, don't do that. So let's see if it can fit somewhere, because these elements are rather big now. I might just not do that slice of bread. Keep this like that. And then this will replace, because that's off to the corner on the right there. I could go in between. I personally love to go in between the columns here, because I'm not going to put it in the center and then write over the numbers. That way this gives me a little more writing space. So I am going to have another sort of diagonal line. I almost combined the word diagonal and angle, diangular. I'm so sorry. Okay. I'm going to be creating another diagonal here, but it won't be like a straight X. So it'll still feel a little organic. I could put like this here and write something like home cooked meals, something like that. This I could like put underneath it or on top. I might just take this quote out since it's going around, and put it like around the girl. How cute is that? Or it could go like around the flower. Ignore the figs, just pay attention to the words. It might go best on the flower because it will balance the words around the bread and the words around the flower. So let's steal this text. There it is. Let me go ahead and lay it down. I'll try to get a good angle for you. And I'm gonna go in order of how I talked about it. Okay, so here's an example of like, now I'm changing my mind. So here's that diagonal, here's this diagonal, it would go here. I wanted to cover the column, but it's too close to the cat. Now that the cat is down here, it kind of changed how I'm doing the tulip. So I'm actually going to go farther in, and I'll go over this hard line. Yeah. Oh shoot, I'm going to add the text. Okay, that's just gonna be the way it's gotta be. Right in the middle of the column. This curve isn't quite right, so I'm going to cut it. Make my own curve. There, okay. Third, like what is that, an hour later? So here we go. Here is the final spread with deco, but we're not done. I want to add in some stamps, maybe. This is something that I knew I would probably look to see if I could add. I've got one that says food. This would be cute to just add maybe like right here, maybe under the cat. I love stamping this one, spring, summer, autumn, winter, and then circling it with pen. I might do blessed. I'm feeling blessed this week. I'm quite happy that I didn't add in that coffee cup after all. I love this one. Every mundane moment matters. This one might actually go really well under the house. What I have been loving doing is actually putting the stamp and then doing arrows. Sorry for my voice. Here, like this. I'll put feeling and then I'll put arrows. So I'll put like feeling. This was kind of a sad week, but feeling misunderstood, burnt out, exhausted, shy, embarrassed. But I'm feeling good right now for food. So I could do food and put arrows like soup season, steak, things like that. That'd be a cool one to do. That would correlate with what I was trying to do here. Or I could do it at the top here. But I really like this one. Every mundane moment matters. So let's go do that one first. I'm actually just going to go with black, and that can help the stamp to stand out. And you just got to commit once you have the stamp close enough. Every mundane moment matters. So cute. Goes with the house. I could put food right here because I don't see myself writing in that space. It's very small. Ta-da. All right, I'm gonna do a quick staging for Instagram, take some photos, and we will start writing. I realized in taking photos for Instagram that I laid everything flat. What I mean by that is like straight. I didn't angle anything specifically. Normally I'm someone who like really angles everything to not fall on a line, so that was interesting today. I think probably because the houses, this cutting board at the bottom of the vase, the bottom of the bread, everything had straight lines, and I just went with it. I'm going to fill out Monday and Tuesday, just kind of show you how even with writing I am considering how the overall end result might look. So I have my green here. I could go in with a brush liner, but I don't want it to be that big, a brush pen, excuse me. But I'm just gonna go in here. The ink is a mix. It is mostly Peter Moss Ferris wheel press with 𝘎𝘦𝘢𝘳𝘰𝘯𝘪𝘤. I'm going to write soup season is here, or I just might write soup season. And this is what I was envisioning, to add a pop of green to this illustration, because there wasn't actually any green in the illustration, but now it kind of blends in with everything else. I am going to use this ink for any headers, so hopefully we actually get to go to the farmer's market this week. I will write farmer's market on Thursday somewhere here, probably at the bottom, to balance that. Now I'm going to use Diamine Gingerbread ink as the main body of my text. It's going to add a rich color, and it is most similar to the brown in that house. And I think I'm going to go lowercase writing. I switch off sometimes. Sometimes I'll do all block text. Like this week I did all uppercase. I will do lowercase because the stamps are all uppercase, and that'll kind of give that its own moment. There you go. This video was extremely long. If you got all the way to the end of this video, comment down below what your favorite comfort food is for fall and winter, and that's how I'll know you watched the entire video. So kudos to you. Thank you so much. I hope this video was informative and helpful. I don't know how often videos like this are going to come up, but if you guys really enjoyed it and want more behind the scenes thought process of what's going on in my head when I decorate, please let me know in the comments, and I'll definitely allot some more time to do this. Thank you guys so much, and I